The run rush command is used to contain a ball carrier. It can be used without movement or with movement. It's best used to take on a blocker or to stop a running play when your player will be unblocked. We'll see that the defensive end and the nose tackle will be blocked, try to hold their position, and likely be pushed back. This defensive end will come through unblocked and go after whoever has the ball. The pass rush command can be used without movement or with movement. It's used to attack the quarterback or disrupt the offensive team's run blocking. We'll see that the nose tackle without movement will be blocked, try to hold his position, and likely push his guy towards the quarterback. The defensive end with movement will come upfield and push his guy right to the quarterback. The defense end that is unblocked will come through and attack the quarterback and ignore any change of possession. When the ball carrier has a path that goes right into the pass rush of the defensive player, then the defensive player will potentially make a tackle upon contact. The spin rush is when you back up to absorb a run block and then run rush or pass rush to spin out of the block. You can also back up, then move and perform the run or pass rush. What we'll see is the defense line back up to absorb the run block and then spin past the player performing the run block and then go after whoever has the ball. This tactic is easily countered with offensive team using more of a move and run block instead of just a regular basic block. What we'll see now is the defensive players backing up to absorb the run block, but the offensive players being positioned to now block them. The stunt rush is a pass rush with lateral movement that can be short or long. The purpose is to disrupt the run blocking and get into the path of the running back to create a tackle or force the running back to turn it back up inside. The longer the lateral movement, the less pass rush you'll have on a pass play, because the defensive players will have to work back toward the quarterback a longer distance. What we'll see is the defensive line moving along their path and pushing the offensive linemen out of the way as they attempt to get in the path of the running back. I just mirrored the defense here. As you saw, the running back comes across, sees the defensive player in his path, and has turned it back up inside toward the middle of the field. If you use this tactic too much, the offense will adjust by running a delayed run into the gap inside, created by the lateral movement. As you see, the defensive ends will be out wide, and the defense tackles can potentially be out wide or inside to create a gap to run through. I just mirrored the defense again. We can shade a defensive player that's performing a run rush or a pass rush that has no movement or does have movement. the defensive players with the outside shading will try to loop around their blocker, and the defensive players that have heads up shading will try to bull rush through their player. When the player has movement, they'll move along their path before attempting to loop or bull rush through their blocker. What we'll see is the defensive end without movement will try to loop around his blocker immediately, and the defensive end with movement will move along his path and then try to loop around, while our nose tackle that's heads up shading will run rush straight ahead through his blocker. The defensive linemen that have rush commands and shading, or a linebacker or a DB with a pass rush and shading, when on the line of scrimmage or near the line of scrimmage, will adjust to the formation. They'll adjust to tight ends, fullbacks, or offensive linemen that are lined up on or just about on the line of scrimmage. We'll see the defensive end will move over until he reaches the offensive tackle. Our other defensive end will move over until he reaches the tight end, and our nose tackle will move from over the tight end to the offensive tackle to make room for the defensive end. If we move our nose tackle to over the guard, he'll remain lined up over the guard because the guard is the nearest player for him to be lined up over.